Thanks so much for joining me for WSAZ Plus. Good day to you. I'm Shannon Litton, here to talk to you about the return of Fired Up Friday, but instead of regular Fired Up Friday like we do for football season, this is more of a winter sports edition of it. And of course, joining me now is the man who I always say never sleeps, but I guess things are going to be changing a little bit, JP. You're actually going to be getting some sleep.
You might have to retire that part of the intro.
We're going to have to, because we're moving Fired Up Friday from 6 a.m. on Fridays, and that's going to be going to 11 a.m. on WSAZ during Studio 3. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect for the return of this winter season.
Yeah, it's a welcome change, the 11 a.m. I've heard some good reviews as far as just people that are like, hey, thank God you're not waking us up that early anymore, So, it'll be a good thing. In January and February when we do these winter sports, basketball Fired Up Fridays, let's be real, it's cold.
Oh, yeah.
You're battling the snow, you're battling ice. It's dark outside for much longer in the day, of course, at 4 or 5 in the morning when people are getting up and trying to get to these pep rallies. So it just kind of felt like 11 o'clock would make a heck of a lot more sense. And probably
school could be delayed.
School could be delayed. So if you have a 2-hour delay, but Fired Up Friday's coming at 11, you can still do it.
Yeah.
Last basketball season, we had a heck of a time trying to get pep rallies in. I think we only did 4 of them, and we had originally scheduled 7.
Yeah.
We had flooding issues. We had snow and ice issues. And so I just feel like maybe 11 o'clock will not only allow us to cast a wider net to schools who maybe wouldn't be able to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning, but also it steers us away from the snow and ice and the dark that people would otherwise have to drive through in the morning to get there. It's going to be fun, though.
It definitely is harder to get up in the winter, I think. I mean, it's cold. You take your blanket off, and it's just like, oh, man, I just want to crawl back into bed. And like you mentioned, it's dark out. Nobody really wants to get the day started during the winter. The days are just shorter,
right?
But all right, let's not talk about the depressing parts of winter. Let's talk about the exciting
fun
part
stuff.
of winter.
Yeah, man.
Fired Up Friday, week 1. We're scheduled 7 so far. Is that right?
We've got 7 on the docket between Friday, January 9th, and Friday, February 20th.
Okay.
Here's the thing about doing this at 11 too, Shannon. I won't feel bad about waking you up if you have a tournament game. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're kind of leaving it open February 27th and the few Fridays that follow. They're in early March. If a team is still in the tournament and they're excited, maybe we didn't visit you and you say, hey, come down. I feel like it's a little easier to put it together last minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
With it being at 11 o'clock in the morning. And again, when the stakes are high and it's do or die, win or go home, we can do it at 11, and I won't feel bad about waking you up. So, we've got 7 scheduled, man. It's going to be fun. All 3 states, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. I think we have 1 school that's brand new, has never done Fired Up Friday before, a couple schools that you've seen do it for basketball season, and a couple of other schools that maybe we haven't seen for a few years, and the last time you saw them on Fired Up Friday, it was for football season.
Yeah.
So we're getting to showcase other sports at these schools that maybe we've previously been to.
You mentioned tournament time. You won't feel as bad. Another thing about tournament time, too, Joseph, you know as well as I do. I mean, anytime we were in a tournament, game day, you're going to have a pep rally anyway. So why not, bring that pep rally from, an 8 to a 12 in terms of energy with having Fired Up Friday there. So tell us where we'll be going Friday morning this week.
We're going to Huntington St. Joe, just
right.
right across the road here from our station. Not across the road, but right here in Huntington. This was the last time we went. They were one of the first Fired Up Fridays that we ever did. I'm trying to remember. That may have been the very first basketball Fired Up Friday.
I think
you're right. Myself. It was Fairland.
Oh, okay.
We went to Fairland first that year. It was 2024, and Huntington St. Joe wasn't far behind them. But, they've got a heck of a good boys basketball team this year. I don't believe they've fielded a girls team this year. But I do know that they have at least 1 female basketball athlete who I believe plays at Huntington High. So we'll get to showcase her, get to showcase the rest of that school. We've got Father there, of course. I believe Monsignor he goes by.
Yes.
He did the push-ups last time. That was fun. He was 72 years old at the time, cranked out a bunch of push-ups in the push-up competition. So that was excellent. But there's a lot of buzz around the basketball program at St. Joe. Yeah, there he is. And look, man, people that are Irish alums, they love the Irish. They stick around. Their kids go to school there, and they play for them. So it's going to be fun to get over there, kick off this season of Winter Sports Fired Up Friday. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and like you mentioned, a new time, 11 a.m., which might take some getting used to. I know people are used to having Fired Up Friday at 6 a.m., but hey, even the people who watch Fired Up Friday rather than participate in them, parents or family from out of town, now they can sleep in as well and, wait for that 11 o'clock hour. Of course, we're streaming it. We're obviously live on the air on WSAZ at 11, but we're streaming it as well on the WSAZ website, and you can watch it on your smart TV too.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we want to make sure people know, and I think that a lot of folks do, especially if they're familiar with what you do up here in the WSAZ plus WSAZ Now studio, is, if you're at work ordinarily at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're probably getting ready for work, and maybe that's when you've watched Fired Up Friday. But if you're at work and you're not going to get in trouble doing it, make sure you want to check with your management first.
Yeah, definitely want to do that.
If you have our app, you can still watch this.
Right.
You can still enjoy it. Maybe on your lunch break, maybe they'll let you go over to the local Fired Up Friday if it's open to the public, right? So that is the one worry that I have, is maybe that we've cut out the ability for the community to show up to some of these things. But also with it being in the middle of the school day, the kids are already at school. You don't have to get them there early. They can ride the bus, get themselves to school the way they ordinarily would, and then you just go to the gym and hang out. But we certainly want to push people towards our app, 11 o'clock on Studio 3. You don't have to be in front of a TV to watch this. You can watch us wherever you are, and I think that's important. So just pushing people there to the WSAZ Plus app.
Not to mention, too, JP, that, 11 a.m., I mean, that's prime time lunchtime. So this could also open up for very different competitions when it comes to
grumbling
food.
stomachs out there.
Right. So, I mean, maybe the competitions stay the same, but instead of maybe eating 6 hot dogs in a minute's time, maybe you double that. I mean, we don't know. We don't want to make any kids sick, obviously, but...
No. Yeah, you want to hear a good story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of, basketball Fired Up Fridays, kids getting sick, so I was golfing Saturday after Christmas. It was a beautiful day, 50s,
Yeah, it was crazy, especially for December.
Unseasonably, warm temperature. And I was at Sugarwood here in what is that, Lavalette down that way. We're about to tee off on the first tee box. There's a ton of people there.
Who's we? Who's we?
Me and a couple of buddies.
Okay, all right.
Locally. I don't know if they want me to say their names on here, but Zach McGraw, Cody Myers, and Isaac Whaley, we were out there golfing at Sugarwood.
All right.
Tee box is packed, so we're waiting our turn. There's people behind us, and this guy starts walking up to me as we're about to tee off, and he, reaches out to shake my hand, and he says, "You're Joseph Payton, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I am," and I couldn't recognize him. He's got a hat on, he's golfing, and he says, "I'm the kid that threw up on the air with you at Fairland." I was like,
what?
No way. I was like, man, you got a name? Like, that's how you introduced yourself to me? But I remembered that. He was one of the ones that was chugging the Mountain Dew. You had to get down a whole, liter, not a 2-liter. Well, maybe it was a 2-liter. And he went down. The trash can was right next to him, out of the shot. And
Precautions were taken.
Precautions were taken, but I don't think we really gave credence to the fact that you could have someone throw up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was kind of like worst case scenario, but I mean, that small world, JP.
I know. I was like, I do remember you now, because I can remember being like, oh, thank God that Jay Melvin was tight on the shot and the trash can was below. That way we didn't see it.
Yeah, well,
so you could have that this year. I don't know.
Yeah,
people are going to be way hungrier at 11.
I'd say that kid probably be hard to forget after an experience.
Oh
like
yeah,
that
and
too,
I can picture it in my brain. I can picture it.
All right, JP. Well, thanks so much for joining us here, as you always do, on the WSAZ Plus desk. And of course, remember, Fired Up Friday this Friday, 11 a.m. on Studio 3, a new home for Fired Up Friday, but nonetheless still on WSAZ. JP, thanks so much again, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you here next time. Have a great day.